Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing okay. Thanks for joining me on another video here on Vatsim 101. And if you haven't yet already subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button just down below. Please also click the notification bell so you can be informed of future videos as and when I upload them. And don't forget, if you like the video, please also click the like button too. It really does help the channel out. Alright, so welcome to Sion Airport in the heart of Switzerland. And what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at this recently released aircraft, the Junkers JU-52. Alright, so it is paid for software, or paid for add-on should I say. It's available on Msfs marketplace, so you can pop along there and download it. It cost me about £12, was it 12 euros, so it's not that much. Alright, so what we're going to be doing today is taking up this old girl and flying her to Aosta airport, and we're going to be traveling via Zermatt, alright, a small little lovely town that I stayed in for about a week just before the pandemic hit out. Okay, so just a little bit of history about this lovely aircraft. So basically it was manufactured in Germany by a man called Ernst Zintdel. Originally he designed it as a single prop aircraft, but then a few years later, around about 1935, he added 2 more engines to make it a tri-motor, and that's how the Junkers JU-52 was born. It served temporarily during the war, had a couple of bombs that they attached to it, and it was used by the German Luftwaffe, but after that it became more of a transportation aircraft, and Lufthansa, the German airline company, bought about 28 of them, and also other airlines followed suit really and started to actually use this for civil airplane transportation. So yeah, really nice aircraft. It was very popular, and actually there's still some flying about, more so for flight tours really. The outer skin is traditionally Junkers style with corrugated metal, which adds considerable strength to the aircraft really, with very little trade-off on increased weight. Right, but the thing I want to show you is this here. Okay, just this in front of us. Now, I'd forgive you for thinking that these were machine guns, all right? I thought so initially, because it was used during the war, but no, it's not. They're actually in German called Ölkühler, all right? And the name is very similar to English, meaning oil cooler. And yeah, they're actually linked straight up to the engine. Alright, so really this aircraft is really tall. So if you were standing on the ground, you'd be about this high. Alright, so you can see just how tall this aircraft really is. Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is just getting into the aircraft, and the passengers would get on from the rear. So around about here you can see the door there. So let's just get into the aircraft and have a look at the interior. See you in there. Okay, so here we are just towards the rear of the aircraft, and you can see there immediately as you come through the passenger door there, you can see the lavatory to your right. Just above you've got some electricity outlets and a couple of air vent levers. Now you've got 2 seats here. Possibly they could be for the flight attendants who will stay at the rear of the aircraft to give an eye on the passenger needs and comfort. And I do like the carpet, it's very authentic, not perfect. And if you have a look carefully, you can actually see a couple of foot tread marks there. So yeah, and just turning around and we can get a lovely view of the interior, how the seating is on the aircraft. So you got quite good views actually of the wings, the engines and surrounding scenery. Okay, so let's make our way to the top. And there's another door here. Not sure who would use this one. Probably the pilots would have to step on the wing and walk up to this door. And there we have the seat next to the door. Couple of tray tables there. Maybe this is first class, who knows. Okay, and just getting a look of the rest of the aircraft from this position. So don't forget, you are going up as you get closer towards the front of the aircraft. Okay, right, now you've got the cockpit in front of you. All right, there is no door, so it literally is open plan. If you're a passenger, maybe you'd want to sit on the front here just to see what the pilots are doing. All right, and what we're going to be doing now, just before we go in, you can see actually that the cockpit is up on a step. All right, so it's a level up, and that's one of the features here of the Junkers aircraft. All right, so let's just get inside the cockpit. Okay, so here we are in the legendary cockpit of the Junkers JU-52. All right, and just sitting here makes you feel like you're in the time era, back in 1939. Yeah, so I think the cockpit really looks authentic and feels it as well. All right, so what we're going to do is just go for a flight start. All right, we're going to go for engine start, but before we do that, we just need to make sure, as usual, that everything is in the correct position. So we'll just check the parking brake, that's on. And by the way, you can see that a lot of these labels are in German. If you are not a German speaker, then you could actually just go to the menu and go to your tooltips, and there you'll be able to just switch the tooltips on, and it will just display all the control labels in the language of your simulator. All right, okay, cool. So all right, so make sure that's on idle. All right, these are your fuel cutoffs, so they are in the shut-off position. This is your fuel tank, left and right, and make sure that's in both. Mixture should be up and off, and yeah, that is about it. We want to put this onto primer and also put on the ignition valve as well. Okay, right, so first things first, let's just go to the back wall panel. So you can see here you've got your voltmeter and also ammeter as well, which is reading, looks like minus something amps. Was that minus? That's 30, 60, 40, minus 40 amps. All right, and you have position light, nav light, and collision light as well. Okay, and this is the only other clickable light switch, but I don't know what it does on the outside. Full tank, drop tank. All right, so what we need to do now is just go ahead and switch on the battery. So we go to this button here, this flap, we'll lift it, and then we'll push this button down and close the flap, and we can go back to our panel. And you can see there that the voltmeter is now registering about 25 volts, and the amps is just now dropped down to say about 35. Okay, so we'll put the position lights on and nav lights. Okay, so that's that. Now, as far as engine starts are concerned, it goes in sequence of 3, 1, and 2. All right, that's 3, 1, and 2. So that's how we're going to do it. All right, so we've done those two. That's fine. And now we want to just apply our fuel, and we'll put that to start. And we'll select about 25% or so on the throttle, and also put the mixture down to rich. Okay. Other thing we need to do is this lever here called a fuel wobble pump. Okay, and we want to unlatch that and just put that down like so. Okay, so all those things are done. All right. Now the other thing here we need to, well, it doesn't affect the start, but just to bear in mind, you have a pitot switch here. So you've got the pitot indicator right there. That's the label. And you want to turn that on just to warm it up. And you can see here that the indicator goes off. Okay, so just check that's working. And we can put it back on again. The label comes back up. All right, so let's move on now to... Oh, the other thing I need to do, sorry, before we actually start the engine is I want to actually take you to this part here. All right, so... Okay, now I want to move out here and show you this thing on the engine. So let's just go forward a bit. And we'll stop there. All right, so now this on the engine is your fuel gauge. All right, really, really weird. So you've got your digits on the outside. Looks like they're liters, and you got one or two digits on a few digits on the inside gauge as well. All right, now you can't actually see the gauge indicator, but it is there. So to help you to see it, what I'm going to do is just go up here and go to the fuel weight and balance. All right, and I'm going to move the fuel up and down and just have a look at the indicator there. Okay, do you see that? It's moving now, so it's actually on, say, 10 now. All right, and that's about 180 gallons per tank. Okay, so a bit weird, but that's how the Junkers JU-52 has been designed. All right, so we've got two passengers, me and you, and a third one there. I'm going to add, actually, some more here. So 171, 171. Oops, that's a bit more. 171, 171, and 171. That's 4 extra passengers, just to bring the C of G down in the middle a bit more. Okay. And moving across, we can see this weird looking thing here. So this is the oil level indicator, and you can't quite see it, but there's your red band between here and there. There's a green band and another band just on top. We're going to have a look at the other one in front of us soon. So there's your cap, and this will actually, sorry, the level indicator, and that will go down once the engines have been started. Okay. All right, so we're going to go for a engine start on number 3. So we'll do that. So we want to press the start master down. And if I just go over here, we can see this device here. Now, this is your magneto section. Okay, so this is your, you've got 3 caps here, your green, yellow, and red. Okay, the green is for engine number 3 on our right. Yellow is for engine number 2, right in the middle, and that is engine number 1. All right, so how these work is that you just click on the cap and it lifts the cap, which opens up the magneto. And then what you need to do now is take it from magneto 1 and just switch it to both. Okay, there's no both label there. It's just put it in the middle and it will be on both. Okay, now these other levers here, you got FRA, which means early, and SPART, which means late. It doesn't actually affect the starting of the aircraft really, but you know, if you want to do things procedurally, then you would go to FRA and start the engine, and afterwards switch it back to SPART. Okay, all right, so we've done that. Yeah, that's on. So let's go for our engine start. So we'll get into this angle so we can watch it starting. Right, there's nothing else to be done. So let's now lift this flap and we're going to pull this lever up for a few seconds. And did you hear the exhaust firing? There we are. Just check the indicator here. So you got your outlets, inlets and your outlets there. Inlet, oil temperature, and you got a dual fuel gauge here, which is your, well, not fuel gauge, it's your fuel pressure indicator and also your oil pressure as well, and oil temperature right there. Okay, close the flap. Alright, so engine number 2 has successfully started. Cool. And finally, all we need to do now is just put this lever down to run, or start. Down to run, sorry. Alright, so next one is engine number 1. So what we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to go to start. Always double check the fuel tank is in the middle. Just put that one down. Put 25% or thereabouts on the throttle. This one goes to mixture rich. Okay. And up here once again, sorry, just get this right. Yeah. Switch that on, and this goes in the middle. Can be a bit difficult to actually get this positioned. There we are. Okay, so we're going to be going for engine start number 1. Obviously, make sure it's clear. I didn't do that on the engine number 3. All right, and right, so that's done, and let's go for a start. So lift the cap and pull the lever up. Did you hear the exhaust again? So we got RPMs there, and engine is firing up. Okay, cool. Now, for engine number 2, okay, this is where we can see clearly the oil level indicator. Alright, so let's go ahead with that. So I'll put this to start. 25%. Mixture rich. Alright, and we just need to get over there to put on our magnetos. So pull that up, switch that to both, and we'll go for engine start. Oh, don't forget also, before I forget, check the just make sure the engines are heating up. Okay, so just make sure the oil pressure is registering something, and okay, it's good. All right, so let's go for engine number 2 start then, shall we? Just watch the oil level indicator. And there we are. We have a successful start on engine number 2. Oil level indicator is indicating good oil level. Oops. No, it's going to turn it off, isn't it? Oh, hopefully I've caught it. Yeah, I caught it. All right. So there's nothing else to do apart from to put the wobble pump back up and secure it. Alright, and pretty much that's the starting of the JU-52. Alright, and just monitor the engine levels as well. So yeah, that temperature's rising there on the cylinder head. Excellent. Okay, and pretty much leave the magnetos as they are. Don't touch them at all. Okay. Right, so that's that. Now, before we move off, what I want to do is just talk about our flight. All right, so let's get the map up. Okay, so right, so what we're going to be doing is taking off from here, runway 7, and then we're going to be basically either we're going to turn right here or turn right at the next one. Reason being because we want to get to an altitude of about 6,000 feet or 5,000 or 6,000 feet just to cover the tops of these mountains, and this might be too close. Alright, so I might fly out a bit. We'll see. And so we're going to be flying around here, and Zermatt is right here. We've got Riffle Sea Mountain, and just around here you have this dark patch is the Matterhorn. Alright, so it's directly in front of the town of Zermatt. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just fly around here, and probably I'm going to go down this route here, because what we need to do is basically set ourselves up for our landing. Alright, so if I just go to get a Navigraph out, and then go to our airport approach, which is going to be runway 27. Alright, now this aircraft doesn't have ILS features. It does have one VOR, which is going to help us to navigate towards the airport. Okay, but this basically, if we were doing IFR, this is what we would look at. Alright, so just comparing what we've got. Okay, we are VFR, don't forget. So we got SVC, that's your NDB there. Alright, now we can't tune NDBs in this aircraft. Let's have a look. We've got the LINs, that's an airport actually, sorry, let's go back down a bit. Right, there's the SVC. Okay, now BLA VOR. Where's the BLA? Now the BLA is out here actually. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. So the NDB. Okay, so around about this area here, DME 12. Okay, DME 12. Remembering that the airport elevation is 1796, so 12 nautical miles from touchdown is DME 12. Okay, so where is that on here? Okay, so you can see this curve around here, and DME 12 is located right at this curve, just before the Sierra Victor Charlie NDB. Okay, so pretty much. Okay, we want to be at well, it says it's got 6,000 here as an altitude, but we want to be we're going to be flying at about 6,000, so we can literally be about 6,000 at DME 12. Okay, 12 nautical miles out, and we're going to be at an ILS gradient, or a gradient, sorry, we're not ILS, of 5 degrees, and we're going to be basically approaching that 100 nautical miles an hour roughly, and so it's 886. Okay, on the VSI. So your VSI is here. Okay, and we're going to be using that. This is your altimeter. in thousands and over here in hundreds. Okay. Alright, so pretty much that is it for our landing preview. Okay. So we're obviously going to have to start our descent a little bit before that. Right, cool. So let's just get rid of that and get ready to taxi. Okay, so we can set this up here to remind us that we're going into runway 7. Okay. It does have autopilot on this aircraft, but I haven't managed to get it working yet. I'll be honest with you. I've tried all sorts of things. There is some help on the forums, but you know, but I haven't managed. You can see there that this switch is on, but you know, we can try and see what we can do. We can get a VOR signal, and we try and see what we can do. So, not promising anything though. This aircraft is still a work in progress. Alright, so taxi. Now, taxi lights. Just looking down here, you got this lever here at the front. Okay, this switches on your taxi light. Alright. You can see it's coming on. Right, I'll just show you something. Maybe I shouldn't show you this, but I will show you this. So you can see it on, right? Watch. See, it's not really. This is something the Osobo team need to look at, because this is the taxi light is a fake basically. You go out, and this little dot gives you the appearance of it being on, but it's what can I say? And see, switch it off. Oops, that's not off. I think the other way is off. There you go. Alright. That's just one of the things they need to do to improve this aircraft. Alright, so now this is your trim wheel, stroke flaps wheel. Okay, so just going back down to this. It works in conjunction with this dual gauge here. Alright, so on the right you've got your elevator. You've got your trims or elevators, okay, and also on the left these are your flap settings. Okay, now this minus 2.5 degrees is basically 0. So you've got 10, 25 and 40. Alright, now to operate that, what you have to do is move this lever, and you can see that it's operating the elevator there at the moment. Alright, now to operate the flaps, you'd have to lift this clutch handle like that, and then operate the flaps. Okay, right. Alright, so we're ready to taxi. Let's check it's all clear, which it is, and I normally taxi out in, so we'll take the parking brake off. Right, now I normally taxi out in just with the main engine, so I'm going to do that. Just a little bit more. You can see it's taken a little bit of effort to actually turn this aircraft, and there we are, moving. Right, now you know it's got no nose wheel. The way I get things centered is, so I'm using the track IR, so if I go over here a bit, sometimes you just have to roughly guess it, and look outside just to make sure you're pretty much on the center line. That's one of the benefits of having track II, so you can just literally look at the side like this. Alright, that's not bad at all. Okay. Right, this aircraft, don't give it too much gas because this aircraft can actually run away with you once it starts taxiing. Now I've let it stop, which is not a good idea. It takes so much to get it started again. Okay, I'm not sure which way the wind is blowing, but I'm going to stop here and we're going to do a little run up. Okay, so for a run up, what we're going to do is put each of the engines to 1600 RPM. Like so. Let's go a bit closer. Right, and then we're going to drop basically drop the magneto from both, and we're going to check the drop is we're going to select them. Sorry, we're going to move the magneto lever from both to each of the magnetos, and just observe a drop there, which it was. So it says about 40%. That's gone up. Oops. Alright, I'll say that's good. Put that one down. Put the engine number 2. Up. Same again. Observe a drop. The only problem is getting this back. Let's see if we can. Oh, we can do that. Okay, and engine number 1. Alright, 1600 on the RPM, and we're going to drop the magneto there, and oops, number 1. Good, so they're all okay. Alright, so now we're going to go for our takeoff roll. So, oops, you know what I should have done? I should have put the parking, I did put the parking brake on. I thought I did. Okay, so we've got flap set, elevators and trims are set, taxi light is on. There is no takeoff light to my knowledge. Okay. Alright, let's go for a takeoff, shall we? Now, as far as takeoff is concerned on this aircraft, this has the tendency to want to take off immediately at a moment's notice. It literally just jumps into the air, which I don't think is accurate, to be honest with you. Alright, there's no takeoff roll on this one, hardly, so to get some kind of takeoff roll, you have to put the controls, which we're now going to check for free and correctness, and rudder. It's all good. Okay, these levers here are your rudder trims. Alright, so if you need to adjust those. Okay, so it's free and correct. Now I'm going to push it forward because it will take off at a moment's notice, so Yeah, I don't think it's quite accurate. And we're 25 degrees on the flaps. After we take off, we're going to go to 10 degrees, and we're pulling up on our climb at about 140, 150. Right. Parking brake is off, just holding the aircraft. I'm going to select 15, and takeoff speed is about 110. Release the brakes. Just try and track the center line as much as possible. I'll push that forward. Nose will drop down. Rudders are a bit late. 110. Pull back. And off we go. Okay, so you see this build, the speed is building up. What we need to do is pull up the nose a bit so we can try and maintain at 150. Right, I just need to check and see. Right, now, as regards the trims and the flaps, right, I'm using a Scenic controller, and basically the left switch will control your elevator, as they would normally do in the aircraft. And the right one controls the flaps. So we've still got 25 degrees of flaps. Leaving it there for a minute just so we can try and get some altitude. Right, so we can either take valley number 1 or number 2. Right, I'm going to go for valley number 2. I want a good clear. That looks like it could work. Hey ho. We'll just enjoy the scenery around Sion Airport. Okay, nose down a bit. Okay, let's select flaps 2, 10 degrees. Get the nose up a bit, try and maintain about 150. What we need right now is altitude as much as possible. It does feel as if you're pulling the aircraft too high. It does feel that. Have a look outside. Can you imagine the passengers at the back of the aircraft? So, I mean, look, if you have a look at the VS down here, look, this is 1,000. It's pretty normal, even though the aircraft looks as if it's pitching up quite a lot. Okay, looking out for that second valley. Now we come up to 2,000 feet. Alright, we're not doing too bad as far as our altitude is concerned. Right, so we're coming up to our second valley just here, so we'll start a right turn. Let's drop that nose a bit, just try and maintain at 150. I'm hoping we can get a good view of the Matterhorn because we got low-lying cloud. Just try and trim the aircraft as much because you can actually end up just keep pulling this thing back. Alright, so we're at 3,000 feet. Let's try and keep that VSI going, about 1,000. And let's just check our VFR map. Keep that down there perhaps. I'm cutting out the valley too early. Let's get back. Actually, this second valley works out pretty well because you can see our flight plan there. It cuts right across this valley. So if we meet our altitude, then we can just join up. Right, flaps are still in 10 degrees. We'll see how this works. I could actually drop the flaps, but I think I've got pretty good, decent speed, and it's working. It's working for us at the moment, so we'll leave the flaps right there. RPMs are full, so we'll leave them there at the moment. Okay, coming up to 4,000, 4,600 feet. Lovely scenery outside. Partially snow and bare rock. What I'm going to do is sorry, yeah, no, that way. It's a right turn. Right, I'm going to go for flaps up. Let's check that. Yep, flaps are up. So now you can see we're not climbing as much as we were due to that 10 degree of flaps, but it should be okay now because we are pretty much above the mountains. Get back on our flight path. Well, you can see how difficult it is to gain altitude in this aircraft. See, we are still climbing at 150 and we're literally just about 400 feet on VS. It's almost as if you've got to dodge the mountains, finding the lowest possible gaps. So now climbing at 600 VSI. Okay, coming to 5,000 feet. Just getting that map up again. And we seem to have, whoops, yeah, I seem to have a mountain peak that's right in front of us here, so I think I'm going to turn right a bit and perhaps just cut across. There we are. Wow, amazing. Look at that. Alright, let's just turn back left and we can get back on our course. Look at that. Right, I'm going to descend a bit for Zermatt town. Alright, so we can maybe see some of the town, hopefully. You'd have thought that with 3 engines we could have been a bit faster, but it's just the way it is. Right, over those mountains there seems to be some, over that edge rather, there seems to be some reprieve to these mountains, so Right, I'm going to take my right turn and we can head over to Zermatt. Okay, just reducing speed now. Right, there is the Matterhorn right in front of us. And if I just turn this a bit, you can see Zermatt right down there in front of us. So we're pretty much on top of Zermatt, really. So there's the Matterhorn, and just somewhere to our left there is the observatory and the Gornogratzi railway, and the observatory should be around here somewhere. I believe it's on the left. So let's just get rid of this map. It's got rid of everything now. Where's the observatory? It's there it is. Can you see it just there? That's the observatory. And this is the Matterhorn. If you catch the Matterhorn at certain times of the day, it really is a beautiful sight. The sun seems to reflect off it perfectly. So if you ever travel to Zermatt, there's the Gornogratzi railway, which is a vernacular railway. It's quite steep at times, but nevertheless a very enjoyable ride up to the top of the Gornogratzi. And in the town of Zermatt you'll find a lovely museum which has very rare relics of, and pictures as well, and videos of the race to claim the mountain of the Matterhorn. Nice, beautiful, absolutely fantastic. I'd go back to Zermatt any day. And Switzerland. Right, that observatory. Difficult finding it again. Just keep an eye on your fuel flow and engine oils and your gauges there. Keep an eye on it. This gauge here, I'm not sure if I told you that this would be your manifold pressure, but it doesn't seem to be registering now at the moment. Okay, I'm looking for that. No, that's not it. Just looking for the observatory, which is around here somewhere. Can't seem to see it. That's a problem when you've got low-lying cloud like this. It just obscures everything. Right, well, there's the town of Zermatt in front of us. I think the Matterhorn could do with a bit of improvement. So maybe on flightsim.to there's a dedicated scenery enhancement. Alright, no, can't see the observatory, so let's head on down to Aosta Airport. So, right, let's get our VFR map up again, and let's turn right around again to head back. Still trying to look for that observatory, but it's not happening. Alright, so we're at 5,000 feet. Now this aircraft is designed to fly at 265 kilometers per hour, but I haven't managed to get that. Most I've done, how I don't know, is about 250. But generally this is what I'm getting, so I think there's a problem with performance as far as speed is concerned. That definitely needs to be improved. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get the VOR for Aosta Airport up. So we got down here our nav, which is working. So 109, I believe it's 109.25. See what happens. Just watch this over here. There we go. Okay, and autopilot, we can try and put that on and press this here and tune this like that. Apparently you do click this, and this is pull out, but it's not having any effect. If I turn this, aircraft doesn't turn. Oops, we need to turn towards our destination. Right, I'm not bothering about autopilot at the moment. Let's just try and get on our course. Alright, so I'm going to just fly in this direction, and we can get to the valley. See, now I'm getting speeds picking up, obviously because I'm descending. Pull back on the engines. Right, the thing that does work is this meter here. In fact, both of these meters here. So you can see here, it's, this is going to indicate where we should go, basically. Even though we've got the VOR to tell us that anyway. And it's runway 27, so we're looking out for 27 on the heading. And once we're in the valley, we should be okay, really. We should start to see the airport. Do start your preparation for landing early. This aircraft doesn't like to slow down, so you've got to slow down before you go down, basically. Right, you've got your outside air temperature gauge, which is that one there. Oh, the other thing I want to show you is that, listen to this, look. Do you hear that? I think that sounds brilliant. It really gives you the feeling of letting fresh air into the cockpit. It psychologically is just telling me I've got more air flying around in the cockpit. So I think that's really, really cool. Okay, now there's the airport down there. See, it's closer than what I thought it was. So the problem is now is just trying to slow this aircraft down. I'm going to pull the nose up a bit. and select 10 degrees of flaps. Yep. All right, so lift the nose up a bit. And then select 25 degrees of flaps. 25. And hopefully that should give me my... I won't have to be battling so much with the descent. There we go. So descending at about 1100 feet per minute. I do think I need to go down a bit more. I'm going to select full flaps. Just checking, yep, full flaps. So a little bit of a steep descent, but it's not going to harm. Might be a bit uncomfortable with the passengers, but there you go. Okay, this looks about fine. Alright, just adjusting the trims. Okay, so full flaps, mixture is rich. Bringing the power down slightly. Adjusting the trims as necessary. don't forget what I said about the nose. It's quite high up, so it looks as if, you know, you're not going to touch down, but you basically, your wheels are near the runway. It's going to look weird, but okay. Power to idle. Pretty much letting it float down. There we are. And really, if you land at a decent speed, you shouldn't need to use the brakes, really. It should just roll to a stop. And the nose will lift as the tail wheel touches down. There we go. Alright, just touching on the brakes slightly. Alright, welcome to Aosta Airport. Just over onto the Italian border. Right, so we're going to use the middle engine just to taxi as we did before. Alright, I remember this airport from last year actually, when I did the Garmin G3000 video. So if you do want to know a bit more about the Garmin G3000, then do click on the link above, or go straight to the channel and you can watch that video, which was done here at Aosta Airport. And that was over a year ago, when pretty much when the channel began. So yeah, very nice airport, lovely setting. If you have a look at this meter here, you can see it's indicating left. It does actually work. Alright, let's just turn it around here. Let's just put it here. I think about here will do. Alright, so parking brake, let's put that on. And we can now turn off our engine, so let's just flip those up. All right, cool. So that's it. That's it for our flight. I hope you enjoyed that. I think it was a real experience flying in the Junkers JU-52. I think it was a real experience. So very nice indeed. I do prefer this one, the 1939 model, as opposed to the retrofit, which has more of a modern feel to the cockpit, you know, mixing the old with the new. And that's how a lot of actually the Junkers are today. I didn't believe it, but I looked up on the internet and there was, yeah, it's the same as the retrofit. So, but I do prefer this one. Everything is original, and that's how I like it. So, all right, so let's just turn the mixture off. Okay, and the magnetos as well, we can just turn off. Okay, and I think that's that's about it really. So let's just go back, open up we've already opened up the windows. Okay, so right, okay, let's get outside then. Oh, battery, we got to turn off the starter and then turn the battery off. Nice. Okay, and also as well. Cool. So that is about it. Okay, flaps are still down, but hey ho. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed the flight. It was lovely traveling around Zermatt and the Matterhorn. If you do like the video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And I will see you all again in the next video. Look after yourselves and bye for now.